Alright guys, this is going to be part 3 of the PS3 collections video. We went through all my physical copies, and actually one thing I failed to mention in the last video, I have two particular copies that are out right now. My girlfriend Eternal Unique is currently borrowing the two. The first one is Shadow of the Colossus and Eco HD Collection. I've never played these games before on the PS2, and honestly, I played through both of them. Holy cow, these games are awesome. I love these games, especially Shadow of the Colossus. I thought that was a really magnificent, well-made game. I did manage to beat Shadow of the Colossus. I'm almost done with the Eco. That's pretty much that. And the second one is Tales of Symphonia Chronicles. Tales of Symphonia Chronicles was the HD remake of Tales of Symphonia. I never actually got to play it on GameCube, which I was really upset about. Because I played it on this, and holy cow, this game is good. Why haven't I played this before? But I let her borrow it when I went to visit her back in at the end of June, beginning of July. So, if you're wondering where those are, and I didn't include those on my list, yeah, they're there. They're just not in my hands at the moment. Anyways, in today's part, we're going to be looking at the digital downloaded games for PS3. I will not be looking at the PS1 or PS2 downloads I have on here. One thing I wanted to make sure that is said here, by the way, this is probably the only time you'll ever see my dashboard on my PS3. If I can come over to system settings, wherever that's at. There it is. I did something, and anybody who has a PS3 and wants more memory, best advice I can really give is right here, on system information right here. I have about 700 gigs on this PS3. You're probably wondering, how in the world did I get that much? I went and bought a 750, actually I bought a 500, but they gave me a 750. I went and bought a 750 internal hard drive, and I replaced it, backing up all my stuff on the current hard drive I did, and I backed it up, and I swapped the hard drives, and I did installing the system data and everything, and then reinstalling all my stuff. That's how I did it, and now I have like a lot more room. You can do this if you want like a terabyte-sized PS3. I'd really strongly advise doing that, especially if you download a lot of stuff like I do. A lot of these games I've got through sharing programs with some of my friends too, so a lot of these games I did not buy. I got them as like quote-unquote gifts from my friends. So let's go ahead and start from the first one. Let's go all the way down to the bottom here. The first one here is Record of Agrest War. I've done an extensive Let's Play, and I'm still doing it right now. This is one of my favorite games. Like I said, I've done an extensive Let's Play. It's over 100, almost over 150 parts. If you want to go and check out my true opinion about this game, I'd strongly advise you watch this Let's Play. It's a strategy game, and it's a really good one. The second one is Sonic CD. This is the re-release of Sonic CD that came out a couple of years ago, with Christian Whitehead's physics engine and everything. I did a Let's Play of this game as well. I had the Sonic CD. It's a classic Sonic game. It was on the Sega CD. I have the Sega CD version of this, and I hadn't played it in a while. I used to play when I was a kid. This third game is Outland. Outland. I did get this from... Actually, I got both Sonic CD and Outland from sharing, but a lot of the stuff I did get from sharing. I just now realized that. Outland is a platformer that is a puzzle as well. Outland is a really interesting game. You have to swap between colors in order to dodge projectiles. If any of you have ever played the game called Ikaruga, it kind of plays similar, but it's a platformer instead of a 2D star shooter. The next game is Castlevania Harmony of Despair. This game I've invested a lot of hours in, mainly because this game is a farm fest. Practically, you go through certain stages with any of the classic Castlevania characters from the series, and you try to get the best loot. Essentially, it's just like a farm fest. That's pretty much all I can say. There's multiple levels with DLC levels as well, and you try to get best equipment for your character and whatnot. It's a really interesting game. I really like it. I spent a lot of time on this. The next one is Sonic Adventure 2 HD release. I'm a sucker for this game. This is actually one of my favorite games of all time. And when I heard that there was an HD release of this, because I knew they did Sonic Adventure 1, it was only bound and determined they were going to do Sonic Adventure 2. I had to buy this immediately, and oh my gosh, they did a lot of good stuff with this. This is actually on this file here. This is actually the first time I actually legitimately got all 180 emblems on the game itself. The next one is Sonic Adventure. Kind of like Sonic Adventure 2, they did an HD re-release of this game, and this is the first time I actually got all 130 emblems on this game too. It was on this version here. Sonic 4 Episode 1. I did a Let's Play of this just recently. Sonic 4 Episode 1 is an entry to the classic Sonic games. And it's the newest one, and honestly I really like it. Sonic the Hedgehog 4 Episode 2. This is a episode. Both Sonic 4 is an episodic game. This is the second episode. The second episode is different because you can play as Tails as well. You can have Tails play with you as well. Okami HD. This was another one of those instances with PS2 game that getting HD re-release on the current the last generation console, I should say, because well, this is a last generation console at this point in time. I've never played Okami, and honestly, I played it for like about, I want to say a good 4 hours, and holy crap, this game is so pretty. This game is so pretty, and I love this game. It's kind of like Legend of Zelda to me, and I really like this game a lot. Sonic the Hedgehog 2. I don't really need to explain this because this is like a childhood game of mine. This is actually the first video game I've ever played, and I went and downloaded this through sharing, essentially. I got this and I just re-released, I played it through again and stuff like that. Same with Sonic the Hedgehog 1. Sonic the Hedgehog 1 was honestly the first Sonic game that ever came out, and they re-released this on PSN too, so that got to play that as well. Mega Man 10. I mentioned in my Q&A that this is probably my favorite classic Mega Man game. It is, because there is a lot of, this is kind of an easy entry to newbies of the Mega Man series, and honestly at the time I was a newbie to the Mega Man series. And well, there's a lot of different like characters you could play as. As of right now, you can play 3 characters on this game alone. You can play as Mega Man, you can play as Proto Man, or you can play as Bass. And I really like this. This one actually made me rage the most because I actually did try to get a trophy of beating this game without getting touched, and I managed to do it, but it took me a long time to do it. The next one I actually got through a PSN promotion. This is Castle Evolution starring Mickey Mouse, the original on Sega Genesis. When I pre-ordered Castle Evolution HD, I got this game as well, and this is a game that I grew up with as a child. I had this on the Sega Genesis, and I really, really love this game. This is a platformer starring, well, Mickey Mouse, and it was just fun. It was really fun. It was imaginative and everything. The HD version, I thought they took that version and made it a lot better. I really, really enjoy this game, and I come back to this game a lot. So some of these are kind of like hints to future Let's Plays in a way, so just be mindful of that. Plants vs. Zombies. I love this game. This is a tower defense game where you defend your lawn against the incoming zombie horde using plants. I really have fallen in love with this game. This game is really addictive, and I had it on my phone, and that's one thing you'll know about me is I'll play a lot of like casual games like this, but this is really fun, and it's really, you have to be really smart on how to handle certain situations. I really like Plants vs. Zombies. The next one is DuckTales Remastered. This is a remastered, I wouldn't say it's remastered, it's really an HD remake. Remastered means it just kind of sprucing up to everything. This is a HD remake of the original DuckTales on NES. This game is really fun because, well, it's DuckTales. DuckTales on NES, and that game itself was really fun. But they added, not only that, they added cutscenes with the original voice cast of DuckTales in it. So this game is really fun. Minecraft, PlayStation 3 Edition. I have never played Minecraft, and my friend Starkseal got me into playing Minecraft, and I really like it. So this is actually my first experience of playing Minecraft, was on the PS3 version. I know PC version's a lot better, and I actually went and, after getting this, I went and got the PC version. Mega Man 9. This one is really tough. I got this through sharing as well. This is kind of like the comeback from Mega Man 8, because I hadn't had a Mega Man game in a while. This game is really fun, though. I played a little bit of it, and it's really, really interesting. Now, this game here, this is part of an episodic game. This is the Back to the Future game. I have not played this game yet, and I'm going to. All I can say is this game is going to be really good because Back to the Future is literally my favorite movie of all time. So, this is going to be interesting where this game goes through. GUNSTAR Heroes. I did a Let's Play with Lester, Sonic 64, on his channel with this game. This is kind of a side-scroller shooter, kind of like Contra and Metal Slug and stuff like that. It's really interesting. I really like it. You get a lot of power-ups and stuff like that. Streets of Rage 2. This is a side-scrolling beat-em-up game. I didn't have this growing up on Sega Genesis, and this game is really... I tried playing it, and I was like, oh my gosh, I have to be really good at this game. But this is a fun game nonetheless. Infamous. Okay, I got a little story for you. When PSN got hacked, I got a couple free games. This is one of those games. Infamous is a sandbox game where you take control of a character named Cole, and he has electricity powers. I've played about, I want to say 7.5 hours of this. I haven't beaten this yet. And holy crap, this game is really good. When I first saw this game, I thought it was like similar to the game Prototype. And if you guys ever seen Prototype, you can see how many similarities this game kind of looks like from that. I did not like Prototype very much. I played through it. I've done practically everything in that game. I just felt like that game was really repetitive, really fast, and I didn't like that. Infamous, on the other hand, I like this game. This game's a lot better than Prototype. So, it made me change my opinion on a lot of things. Super Stardust HD. Okay, this is a... Well, I haven't really played too much of this. This is the other game that I got free when PSN was hacked. This game is pretty much a side-scroller, well, not really side-scroller, 3D side-scroller shooter on a planet and everything, and score points, yada yada yada. That's really what this game is. And I can't really explain too much because I haven't played too much of this. Hyperdimension Neptunia MK2. I got this as a gift, and it's because a lot of people were wanting me to try this series. Honestly, I don't like this series too much. This series, I feel, is really repetitive. But this is just my opinion. I don't like this game too much. I played about, I want to say, 4 or 5 hours of this game. This is an RPG. This is JRPG, using where you move around on a battlefield and you attack the enemies using skills and stuff like that. But I didn't really care for this game because it was really repetitive, and yet it was a big grind fest, and I don't like games too much when it's too much grinding. And not only that, well, I kind of got really bummed out when I was playing this game because I got to a certain point, and every time I play it, it freezes, and it just won't advance any further. It like literally like freezes at one point. So I might have to delete my save file, which I spent like at least 7, 8, 10 hours on, and I'm really kind of pissed off about that. So honestly, Hyperdimension Neptunia MK2, even though I know a lot of people who were friends with me really like this series, I frankly cannot stand this series very much. I'm sorry about that, but yeah. Tekken Revolution. This is a free-to-play Tekken game, and honestly, you might, even though it's free to play, it limits you on a lot of things. But I like this game because it is Tekken. Tekken is really fun to play and everything. And honestly, give it a go whenever you get a chance to. It's free to play, but it limits you on a lot of things to do free. Castle Crashers. This game is very interesting. It's a side-scroller beat-em-up RPG where you're little knights using special abilities to defeat enemies. A lot of these enemies are very creative and immature in a lot of sense, and this game is really fun. And plus, this game is a lot of fun to play co-op. So if you have a buddy and he has this game and you have this game, play this game. This game is worth playing co-op. I'm going to say that right now. The next one is Braid. This is an interesting little platformer where you, I played about like 2 or 3 hours of this game so far. And this game is like, it's a platformer where you can control time. Where if you get hit by an enemy, you can reverse it back to undo your mistake. There is no game overs. There is no like deaths. You only get 1 life, but if you die, you reverse time to get out of it. So it's really an interesting little platformer, and you got to do a lot of platforming to get to unlock puzzles and stuff like that. Rayman 3 HD. I played about 2 hours of this game so far. After I played Rayman Revolution, that was Rayman 2, and this game is like Rayman 2 essentially. This game is really fun, and I really like it so far. It's going to be really hard to 100% this game though. Nights into Dreams. I have not played this game yet. I got this through sharing. I got a lot of these games through sharing. And Nights into Dreams is it's a game by Sega, and you control Knights, the Jester, and I can't tell if it's a boy or a girl. I could never tell if it was a boy or a girl, but it flies through rings, and you score points, and you keep timers and everything. That's pretty much the gameplay of Nights into Dreams. And we did a Let's Play of this on League, so if you want to check it out what the game is about, go ahead and check over there. The Walking Dead Season 1 game. I have not played this game, and I don't know if I want to use this as a blind Let's Play for Halloween or not. I really don't, because this is a Telltale game, and I know everybody loves this game to death. And I'm a big fan of the Walking Dead series. I've watched almost every episode of the show, and I love every episode of it. It's one of my favorite TV shows to watch, so when I heard that there was a Telltale game, I had to play it out myself. Or I had to get it myself. Well, I didn't get it, I got it through sharing. But I don't know if I'm going to play it or save it for recording. I'll decide later if I do. If you see Walking Dead Season 1 pop up on the channel, you'll know what I decided on. Marvel vs. Capcom 2. This is the original port of Marvel vs. Capcom 2. And this is just Marvel vs. Capcom 3, but primitive, essentially. It's a fighting game where you get a team of 3 and you fight team of 3 between Marvel and Capcom characters. And it's a grand old time, I should say. Arcana Heart 3 is a Japanese fighting game, and honestly, I cannot figure out the controls of this game whatsoever. I can't figure out how to do combos. I can't figure out character combos and stuff like that. So this is kind of a play when I have extra time kind of game now. Soul Calibur 2 HD Online. This is one of those fighting games. A lot of games that I like from the fighting game genre are from Namco. It's either Tekken or Soul Calibur. And Soul Calibur 2 was honestly my favorite in the Soul Calibur series. So whenever I heard that the HD remake came out, I had to buy it. It's a fighting game where you had to just, use weaponry to fight. It's just a fighting game. That's all I can really say. The X-Men arcade game. Well, it's a classic beat-em-up game with the X-Men. That's really all I can say. This is the game where the whole "Welcome X-Men to Die" line comes from Magneto. So if you're wondering where that came from, that's what the game it came from. Flower. This is an interesting game. You use the 6-axis controller on the PS3 to guide a petal of flowers through a gigantic horizon of fields through flowers to make the stream of flowers longer, and you brighten up the world essentially. It's a really interesting game. You should all try it out if you got a PS3. Limbo. Limbo is a platformer where you have to use a lot of puzzle solving to avoid certain death. I've only played up to about halfway point in this game. I'm going to try it out again eventually, but everybody tells me that this is a wonderful game, so I picked it up. Heart Corps Uprising. This is a continuation of the Contra series, and I have not played this game yet. I got this the other day, and I'm going to try it out when I get a chance to. I'm not really good at Contra. The only one I'm really good at is, well, you know, a Metal Slug is kind of like Contra in a way. Resident Evil 4. I'm a big fan of the Resident Evil series, especially 4, so I had to go and download this one. Resident Evil 4 is a survival horror game. It's a lot different than 6, if you're wondering what that is. Resident Evil Code Veronica X. This is another Resident Evil game that's kind of the same control as 4. They did HD ports of both 4 and Code Veronica on PSN, so I went and got both of them. I got both of these through sharing, actually. So, I got a lot of these through sharing, so if you see a game, it's more likely through sharing. Retro City Rampage. I did not play this game yet. I got this through sharing, and Sonagos told me really the only thing that he says that this game is like, it's like classic Grand Theft Auto. And that's the top-down perspective, driving cars and stuff like that. This is a continuation episodes of the Back to the Future game, so I don't really need to explain that. Little Big Planet 2. This is the sequel to Little Big Planet 1. And I played about 4 or 5 hours of this already, and it's just like Little Big Planet 1, and I couldn't be happier than that. I love Little Big Planet, and this game is wonderful. It has a lot more content than 1. I mentioned when I had God of War Saga that I had both Chains of Olympus and Ghost of Sparta on here. They're practically more God of War games. I have not played these games yet, and I will eventually. Mortal Kombat. This is a Mortal Kombat 9 to be specific. This is the latest Mortal Kombat to come out, and I have not played this game yet either. I will get to that quite soon, because actually I heard that there's a story mode on this. Dead Space Extraction. This is a rail shooter. I played about 2 hours of this game. This is a rail shooter that came with Dead Space 2. So, it's really interesting and I like it. It kind of shows the origins of the Dead Space series, essentially. BioShock 1. This was downloaded through the BioShock Infinite case. I already did a Let's Play of this game. If you want my honest opinion about it, go check it out. This is honestly one of my favorite games of all time. BioShock is one of my favorite games. So, really, it's a first-person shooter upgrade kind of game. I guess they classify it as an RPG, but I'm not too sure about that. BioShock 2, on the other hand, I didn't think this was as great as BioShock 1, but I'm going to play through it again just for the sake of Let's Playing this game soon, and I'm going to try to get a different opinion about it. But BioShock 2 is essentially the same as BioShock 1, only it has a couple more things added to it. That's the only reason why I didn't really like this game too much, because it didn't really add to it. Like, add to the greatness that BioShock 1 was. Darksiders. I have not played this game either, but everybody who has played this game has told me that this game is like Legend of Zelda, but more mature. So, I'm going to have a fun time with this one. Ni no Kuni Wrath of the White Witch, I'm sorry. That's kind of a tongue tie in itself. This is an RPG that is a combination of, like, I guess, Pokemon and Tales, I guess, in a way, from what I gather. From my friend Fenris Darkseal told me to get this game, and I saw this on sale on PSN for $5, and I had to get it. This is a huge game, too. This is like 21 gigs to download by itself. This game, though, I'm really interested in playing, and I will play it eventually. Strider. This is the new Strider game. I played Strider on the Genesis. This is kind of like a platformer where you just use your sword to kill all the enemies. It's kind of like a beat-em-up game in itself. I will play this game eventually, and I will hopefully get a new opinion about it. Double Dragon Neon. I haven't played this game either. I just recently got these games too, so I hadn't had time to sit down and play it. Double Dragon Neon, from what I gather, is a beat-em-up game just like Streets of Rage. So that's pretty much that in a nutshell. Oddworld Munch's Odyssey. Okay. My friend SaxDude26, his favorite series is the Oddworld series. And I have not played Oddworld's Abe's Odyssey or Abe's Exodus, but I did see this on sale, so I picked it up. I will play this eventually. It's kind of an interesting little like puzzle solver. Child of Light. This is a new RPG that was made by Ubisoft, and apparently it's received nothing but praise. And you know, everybody knows how big RPG fanatic I am. So I went and bought this game too. I have not played this, and I will eventually. And the last game I have on the list right now is Worms Revolution. The Worms series is essentially like you control a little army of worms, and you shoot at the other team to make the other members die. Essentially, you take It's a turn-based game too. It's a real-time strategy game, I guess, in a way. But that's what the Worms series is. I'm guessing this is the newest one of the series. I have not played this game. I bought this. I didn't buy this game. I shared it. I got it to play with a friend of mine. So that's pretty much that. Other than that, that's all the titles in there. I know I have a lot of titles in there. You're probably wondering, holy crap, there's a lot of disk space available. Well, anyways, another thing I downloaded was the Angry Birds. Again, I'm a big casual gamer. So Angry Birds is like actually one of my favorite series to play on a casual basis. So I really love this series, so I bought a mini of it. No, not that. Over here, there's another thing called the Neo Geo Station. I have two games in here of Metal Slug 1 and 2. Metal Slug 1 and 2 are kind of like Contra, where you have to shoot a bunch of enemies on the screen, you only take one hit, and then you die kind of game. Metal Slug 2 is a game that I grew up with in an arcade. So, I will eventually do a Let's Play of that game, essentially. But, that's going to be in the future. But that's pretty much that in my digital downloads list. I talked a mouthful there. But, I really hope you guys enjoyed this little set of collection videos that I did. I will be coming back, eventually, with my 360 collection. And the 360 collection used to be really huge, but it's not so much huge anymore because I sold a lot of the games. A lot of the games that I sold were third-party games, and I got them back on the PS3 because I play the PS3 a lot more than my 360. I only keep my 360 around for exclusives anymore. But that's pretty much that in a nutshell. We'll come back and look at the 360, and then after that I'll come back and look at the my Wii collection. So, but that's going to be later on down the road. But anyways, guys, I really hope you enjoyed this little let's look at my collection of games here, and I'll give you some of my opinions of some of the games that I have. But anyways, I will see you guys in the next video I do. Take care, everyone.